Hi everyone, time for a progress update. I did one of these kind of recently, a progress update, but at the end of it, I said like, here's my whiteboard, this is book one, part two, this is what's coming next, and you can just follow every week when I post one of these things, look behind me and you'll see the whiteboard. But then the whiteboard sits on the floor, it doesn't sit on like a chair right behind me when I'm talking. And nobody can see it. I've been told I can't see anything where you are. You can see the first couple of rows or whatever. And so let me do a formal progress update where you can see exactly how far I am. Now, what I'm updating you on the progress of is book one, part two. This is book one, part one, The Crown and the Cage God. It's the first 84 chapters. There are 3 parts, and part two, all 3 parts are written. I've already fully written all of them. I'm just revising. I'm editing and editing and editing and editing, and I do so many rounds of revision. And my sort of completionist round, this is what I'm going through right now. I've done, out of these 131 chapters, I've finished revising 40 of those chapters. So I'm almost a third of the way through, and my goal is to get this thing out on June 1st of 2025, the 1-year anniversary of the previous one. My goal all along has been, once a year to get these things out. Just going through the revision process, can I make it? Maybe, but I'm a human being, right? And I insist on this being 100% human. I don't want a single finger, I don't think AI has fingerprints, but like a single AI keystroke or thought or anything, AI to contribute in any way to these, I think subtracts humanity, subtracts heart, and makes it not art. And I'm made of meat, right? And so I think slowly, and I write slowly, and I revise slowly. I do the artwork slowly. So I painted, these are my watercolors. I've talked about that before and shown you the pictures, but the front and back cover, those are my watercolors, is internal artwork. Those are my pencil and pen drawings. And I do that slowly. In future books, I'm collaborating with Lum on the artwork for them. You can see the map online. I posted that years ago online. That was one of Lum's final paintings. And he and I are continuing to do artwork together, but he's made of meat. He's a human. He works slowly too. Music, when I read fantasy stories, I get to the songs and I'm just like, this is horrible. Like, it's so obvious that these people have no idea how to play an instrument. It's so obvious these people have never written a song. It's so obvious these people don't understand music theory or kind of anything about composition. When I read these non-songs I'm like, this is like, love me some Tolkien, but those songs, it's just obvious he had no idea what he was doing. Stick with language, or like hire somebody who knows what they're doing. So if there's a song that's referenced in the book, whether it's a lyric or describing a song, those songs will have been written. And Lum and I, we used to have a band together a long time ago. He and I are teaming up to write all these songs before I describe them in the book. But we're humans. This stuff takes forever. And I am just not interested in accelerating the process by use of computers and robots, AI, whatever. No way I'm going to do that. I think anyone in the arts, anybody who's a painter, anyone who, within the visual arts, within music, within literature, I think everyone who is like an artist is horrified by the idea that you would let a computer do the work for you. And the people who do that, I think, are just hucksters. And I'm not saying hucksters are terrible people. Hucksters are interesting. In my story, there's an entire town like filled with hucksters, and it's Bagoozu. It's a great place to write about these people, and so they bring character. But on some level, I just feel sorry for on real Earth life. I feel sorry for the hucksters who want to use AI to accelerate these things, because there's this old. It's not an Orwell quotation, but everyone. I don't think. I'm unfamiliar of a time in which Orwell ever said this. So I think it's pseudo-epigraphical, but it's been ascribed to him. And the quotation is, if you can't write well, it's something like this. Maybe I'm trying to get it perfect. If you can't write well, you can't think well. And if you can't think well, others will do your thinking for you. Okay, it goes something like that. And the reason it's believable that Orwell said it. Again, I don't think he did, but the reason it's believable that he did is it strikes us as profound. And Orwell said a ton of profound things, and so here's one more. Why didn't we'll just have him say this too? Now, part of the profundity is the anadiplosis. It's a figure of rhetoric. It's how the sentence is shaped is memorable. But most of the profundity comes from it's true, right? There's this nugget of truth in there where if you can't think well, others are going to do the thinking for you. And the only reason that it registers as profound is that's a bad thing. If it were a good thing, if others did the thinking for you, the whole quotation would break down. And so we seem to have reached this age where people, hucksters, are willing to let AI do all the thinking for them, to rush out to try to make a dollar, right? They're not artists. There's no heart. There's no soul. They're surrendering soul for speed. And that's just something I will never do. I'm not going to just, you'll notice, I'm not going to race these things out at the pace of like 21st century, I don't know, like ADD gluttony. Like my books aren't going to come out at that pace because they're crafted by a human, made of meat who cares about heart and art. And if you read the book, you'll notice that like if you want a book that's just racing ahead, every like sentence is more explosive than the last, and it's urgent, 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 go, 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 excitement, excitement, excitement. Like that's not this. My book is it's like slow, and it's thoughtful and philosophical, and it's filled with humanity, and like that's what I write about. And I'm not gonna, why would I rush something like that out with a computer? Like, and so I'm gonna end there. I'm sort of losing my premise here, but my goal is to, if all goes right, if all goes well, I will get this thing out, book 1, part 2, in June of 2025. If all goes wrong, I'm going to get it out in December or something, a year from now. If all goes like mediumly, August, September, something like that, but I'm aiming for a June release date. But that's it for me. I hope your ambitions are not obstructed by external hurdles, whether it's health, whether it's work commitments, family things, whatever could get in the way of actualizing your goals. I hope all goes right for you. Or failing that, all goes medium. All right, I'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.